Hey guys, George back again with another LP and CD update for October 8th, 2012. I got a few things from garage sales over the past couple weeks. A ton of upgraded stuff from my local record store. Somebody brought in some classic like 70s rock stuff that I needed upgrades on. And I got a few new releases on LP and CD. I figure I'll make this one quick. I got about 25 LPs or so. So we'll start out with the garage sale stuff and we'll move on. First up is Aretha Franklin's Greatest Hits from 1960 to 1965. I love Aretha Franklin's classic stuff. This one's kind of, all these tracks are kind of new to me because it's early 60s stuff. But I really like this. These are all in mint condition too. She does like Mockingbird on here and stuff like that. Pretty awesome. Next up is Aretha's Gold. Another best of with Respect, Chain of Fools, that kind of stuff. This is an upgrade. I had this already. This is the stereo version. I do have the mono version, but I figured for 50 cents that was a cool upgrade. Next is Diana Ross and the Supremes Anthology. This has everything from the early years on. 3 LPs, mint condition. This is on Motown from 1974. Really cool. They do a really cool version of Hard Day's Night from the Beatles on here. I'm not a huge fan of the Diana Ross and the Supremes, but I think this is the only thing I'll ever really need. Like I said, 50 cents for a 3 LP thing. So next up is Stevie Wonder's Greatest Hits Volume 2. I have Volume 1. This is a nice mint stereo copy. Nothing really, nothing much to say about that one. That one's on the Tamla label from Motown. I guess it's a subsidiary of Motown. This was put out in 1971. Next up is the Best of the James Gang. I have another best of with a different cover. This is on ABC Records from 1973. It has like Funk 48, Funk 49, Midnight Man, Take a Look Around. Pretty killer though. I like Joe Walsh a lot. Next up is a weird promo thing called Hard Goods that was put out by Warner Brothers Records in I want to say 74, 75. I think it's 74. But it has Kiss, Strutter on it, Deep Purple, Frank Zappa, Todd Rundgren, Greg Allman, Neil Young, Ted Nugent, Amboy Dukes, Doobie Brothers, Montrose. Just a weird double like promo, sampler type thing. Never really saw this before, and it's pretty weird. You don't see Kiss on too many of them, especially from the early years, but this has Strutter on it, so pretty neat. This came out in 1974. Next up is an upgrade of Neil Diamond's Hot August Night. Not a huge, I like Neil Diamond alright, I guess. I'm not a huge fan, but this is a great live record. I'm not big on live albums at all, but I remember this when I was a kid, so. Next up is the Immortal Otis Redding. This is on the Adco label. It's a cutout from 1968. Mint condition, pretty killer. Next up is Martha and the Vandellas Greatest Hits, like Dancing in the Streets and Love is Like a Heat Wave and classic Motown stuff. This came out in 1966. I love Motown early, I like early doo-wop, early Motown. Again, mint condition. Moody Blues, Days of Future Past. Not much to say. I'm not a huge Moody Blues fan at all, but I figured for 25 cents I'd pick it up. I like Nights in White Satin. That's probably about it. I never had that before. And last The last garage sale one was a pop music station. It's called Connecticut Graffiti. It's just like a sampler. It's got Rod Stewart, Coven, Stories with Brother Louie, Nas is on here, Grand Funk, Locomotion, which they misspelled Locomation, Monster Mash, Rock Around the Clock, and the theme from Shaft from Isaac Hayes. And this is put out by Oldies in Philadelphia. And it's a Merv Griffin station, I guess it was at one point, run by Danny Thomas, but pretty cool little compilation. Now on to the newer stuff and the upgrades I got. Actually, this was another garage sale, 50 center. I forgot what mine was, so I just grabbed that. Actually, the one I have is a little better than this one anyway. Alright, first up is The Exorcist soundtrack. I love horror movie soundtracks. I don't have a lot of them, but I am looking for like Friday the 13th or Halloween or, you know, stuff like that. 80s horror soundtracks, but this is like dead mint condition except for the cutout. But this is a great soundtrack. Plus that movie scared the living shit out of me when I was a kid. Next up, I'll do the upgrades first before I do the new stuff. Rolling Stones, Let It Bleed. This is the first pressing. Without the poster, though. It didn't have the poster in it. This is the US version. This is dead mint. This was like, you know, you don't see them like this anymore. They're usually split seams or shit like that, or the vinyl's, you know, shitty, but this was like mint condition, so I picked that up. I love that record. Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous is an upgrade for me. The one I had was, it was okay. This one's like stone mint. Again, not a huge live album fan, but this one was really good. Next up is another live album, Rainbow on Stage. Again, mint except for this. I tried to clean that a little bit, it didn't come off, but the LPs are like never been played. Looks like no spindle marks on them or anything like that, but great record. Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, which you don't see these mint hardly ever. And this one's just immaculate. Great album featuring Ronnie Dio. But I have a couple versions of this record. I've always been looking for a mint one. Finally got one, so. And Rainbow Straight Between the Eyes. This is one I just never had on vinyl. I haven't listened to this yet. It's got Joe Lynn Turner on it. Not a huge fan of that era stuff, but I'll give it a spin. And then I got some Bad Company, like mint condition Bad Company upgrades for me. I got Run with the Pack, Straight Shooter, which is mint, and what's this one? Burning Sky. I never had Burning Sky on vinyl. The other two I have, but they're beat the shit, so figured for $1 each, why not? Next up, I got a couple Uriah Heep things, which I'm not a huge fan of Uriah Heep, so I got a Bogmanog and Head First. The only reason I picked these up is because they have pretty much Ozzy Osbourne's band from Diary and Blizzard. Lee Kerslake, Bob Daisley, and John Sinclair are on both of these records, so I just picked them up for that reason. I haven't listened to them yet. This looks to be about a year after the Diary of a Madman came out. This one came out, and then this one came out in '82, and this one in '83, so I'll check those out. Like I said, I'm not a huge Uriah Heep fan, so I'm not real sure. Next up is a weird one I found. I told my buddies Greeno and LJ about this one. LJ was playing Gamma 2, I think it was, in one of his recent updates. And I've always seen these Gamma records, but I've never picked them up. Honestly, didn't even know Ronnie Montrose was in the band, but I've seen these albums forever. But they just always, for some reason, seemed like a prog metal thing to me. So I never even looked at them before. But when I heard LJ playing Gamma 2, I was hooked. I was like, wow, it's Ronnie Montrose. I gotta check that out. So I ended up at Shady Dog. I found Gamma 3. And the thing is, it's autographed by Ronnie Montrose, which is weird. Like, who would have thought? Now, I was talking to Greeno last night, and he ended up picking up, I think, Gamma 1, or something reversed. Maybe LJ was playing Gamma 1, and Greeno picked up Gamma 2, and I picked up Gamma 3. So we all picked up, like, a Gamma record within the same week, which is weird. But I will be looking for Gamma 1 and 2. I listened to this. I liked it, but Greeno told me that Gamma 1 and 2 is way better than this, but I figured with the autograph, and it's a white label promo, so it's pretty cool. Now that Ronnie's gone, it's unfortunate that Ronnie killed himself, but, what are you going to do? Next ones I got from my buddy Peter, EL Peter 1978. Again, I'll put a link down. If you didn't watch the VC Love Train video that I did, then you didn't see these, but he sent me the West German pressing of Rock and Roll Over from Kiss, the West German pressing of the self-titled record from Kiss with the alternate S's as the Rock and Roll Over one, and a Heavy Metal Records compilation with Accept, Rothschild, Bullet, Diano, Jim Dandy, and Black Oak, Arkansas, Tease, Reckless, bunch of bands. So, and this is white vinyl, which I didn't know when I initially did the video, but until I went to listen to it and realized that it's killer white vinyl. Pretty awesome. Again, Peter, thank you very much. And there's a couple other things that I'll show. I think one other vinyl piece that I'll show. He sent me some CD promos too that I haven't listened to yet, so I didn't want to mention them yet. But if you want to see what they were, check out the Love Train video that I did. And an upgrade of Rush Moving Pictures. Pretty standard US pressing on Mercury. Killer though. And then a couple new things I picked up. Green Day's Uno. I love this record. I thought it was a fantastic record. I look forward to Dose and Trey coming out November and January. Black vinyl, nothing special about colored vinyl, but another band from Australia called Thug. They're like a pop, not pop, but like a punk band, I guess you could say, more like an oi punk. This features Angry Anderson from Rose Tattoo on a couple tracks. This was killer. It's on Rock and Roll Disgrace out of the US. You can go to rnrdisgrace.com to pick this up. It was like $11 or something. Really awesome band. Check that out, though, Thug. And the final LP I got was the new Kiss record, Monster, 180 gram, 12 tracks. I liked about 3/4 of this record. The production on it's way better than Sonic Boom. It's a heavier album than Sonic Boom, I thought. The guitar sounds heavier on it. The guitar tones are heavier on it. The drumming's, I think the drumming's a lot heavier too for some reason. It doesn't sound kind of thin like the other one did, but favorite tracks on here would be Wall of Sound, Freak, Shout Mercy, Eat Your Heart Out, The Devil Is Me, All for the Love of Rock and Roll, and Take Me Down Below, I think are my favorites. I did order the West German pressing of that, because the Amazon.de has a picture of the alternate S's, and it actually ended up being cheaper than the US version for some reason. I don't know why, so I'll be getting that in the mail probably this week. And like I said, hopefully it has the the alternate S's. If not, then I'll have two of them. Maybe I'll do a 200 subscriber giveaway, which I want to thank everybody real quick too. I hit my 200 subscribers this week. I was thinking about doing some kind of contest, like a giveaway. I don't know what yet, but keep an eye out. I might do a video for that. Next 7-inch I got is Misfits Return of the Fly. This was also from Peter. This is a bootleg of the 7-inch. It's got 7 tracks on it. I'm a huge Misfits fan, and their shit is so hard to find over here, so I was happy to get this. Now for a few CDs. I got 6 CDs here. First one is Turbonegro's Sexual Harassment. This is their new studio album. I showed the vinyl before, but I got the CD cheap on Amazon for like $6. Great record though. I like that record a lot. Kicks Live in Baltimore. This is a CD DVD package. The DVD is like almost 2 hours long. Great show. This is off Frontiers Records out of Italy. You can get it on Amazon for fairly cheap. I think like $13, something like that. If you're a Kicks fan, do yourself a favor, grab this record. Show some support because they'll be doing a new studio album hopefully next year. Next up is something that LJ showed, and I had heard it before, and I looked for it a few places. I just couldn't find it. I ended up ordering on it from Shady Dog, and that's J.D. McPherson Signs and Signifiers. If you like Little Richard or James Brown, or like Jerry Lee Lewis, check this record out. This is an unfucking believable record. Real 50s rock and roll. Great band. Kind of reminds me of that whole vibe that Jim Jones Reviews got going on, which I just pre-ordered their new record as well from the UK. But definitely check out J.D. McPherson's record if you like 50s rock and roll. Or just go online. You can check it out on Amazon and hear clips. Really killer record. I will be ordering that on vinyl as well, I think. Next up is Blackberry Smokes, The Whippoorwill. I think my buddy Greeno had this on vinyl. I found a promo of it on CD. I love this record, man. This is like Southern rock the way it's supposed to be, I think. Very reminiscent of old school like Zeppelin and Allman Brothers. Not Zeppelin, Skinner and Allman Brothers. And not much to say. Check them out. Blackberry Smoke, brand new record. Another record I found, a CD I found, Suicide Bombers, Criminal Record. This is like, I don't know where they're from. I think they're like French or something maybe. But this is like kick-ass sleaze metal. This album is unbelievable. It's hard to find in the States. I got it on through their website. But definitely check out the Suicide Bombers. You can listen to some of their stuff on Facebook, I think. And finally, I picked up the Kiss on CD, which, again, Best Buy has a exclusive. So, I might have to check that out. But I got this the same day as the LP. I have to see what the exclusive... I think the exclusive is like a 3D cover or some bullshit like that, but whatever. I think I would have learned my lesson by now and just waited for the ads for Best Buy to see if there's like a limited thing. But what are you going to do? If you're a fan, you're a fan. You pick it up when you see it. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm going to be doing a collection video that somebody had asked me about. I'm going to do that next for the band Wasp. So I got that coming up, all my Wasp 12 inches and LPs, so keep an eye out for that. Again, I want to thank every subscriber and everybody who watches. Like I said, I just hit 200 subscribers. Thank you all very, very much. I really appreciate it. I had no, I really didn't think that after a short time that I would have this many subscribers already. I think I've only been doing it for like 3 months or 4 months or something like that. But again, I want to thank everybody. I appreciate it. Looks like I'll be starting a new job here shortly, back in the music business. working in a music warehouse doing records and CDs and DVDs and all that stuff here in Philadelphia. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be working with friends of mine that I've worked with in the past. Um, so it should be really fun. I hope, and I think it will be. I'm working with my brother Steve, who I've mentioned before. Steve's like a brother to me, so I'll be working with him again, and another guy, Jack, that I worked with. So I'm really looking forward to that. But anyway, I'm rambling again. Again, I can't thank you enough, all of my subscribers. I hopefully will think of some kind of contest to do. Everybody does one now, so it's kind of like thin as to what kind of contest, but I'll figure something out. Again, I want to thank Peter and LJ and Greeno. And I guess that's about it. So, thanks again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all real soon. Peace!